Hi Jesse, and possibly people like Virginia and Magna even, who we did some business with back in 2000. This little video is to help provide you the information you asked for in the email that I got late last night. Basically, it's that problem. We've only got it on one unit, and we're hoping you can have us diagnose the problem, what I'm doing wrong, for example, in applying the patch. So just as a reminder, there was a video which is up there.
And now turning round, middle of the road, and coming back. Right,
the problem is that we've got smoothing of GPS heading. And that vector there is moving very, very slowly, whereas all of the other GPS we've got, including in the same patch, didn't have that problem. Now I must emphasise that we only have the problem with one unit, and that was within a batch. For years I've got my Globalsat GPS BR355s from Digigomart. They're always given an excellent service in provided kit, and of course I've had excellent technical support from Jesse in the States, even though you could argue the support should be coming from Taiwan. In the earlier years we had the older SiRF chipset, and of course now our autopilots based on the later one, which is much better when it's set up properly, and we've only had the problem with one unit. Yeah, that's our fridge. And here are the magnets that have come out of these units over the years. There may be other ones as well, but there's 9 of them already. We take those out because we sometimes have a compass in the system. To put things into context, the front page of my website is pretty clear about the situation. I've retired. Most of the work with Globalsat was back in 2000, perhaps a year or so after that. And for at least 10 years or more before that, I was working with people like Trimble, Rockwell, on obviously military use, which was moving into the commercial sector. So here's stuff like my hearing aid and a few relevant things from my history, including me mucking about with the British Army with GPS related stuff a long time ago. Before we go into the nitty-gritty of applying the patch and setup, the front page of my website includes an As on TV page, and that may be of interest as a bit of background. So for example, over here, if you click on that, there's the video of the work being done back in the
The Barossa operation was named after the military training area north of Camberley in England.
That'll do for that for the moment. And since I retired, I messed around with other things, some of which has appeared on telly.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
Yeah, that'll do. Enough of that. Now on to the important stuff, which is how to get that one particular one working, where it's the only one we've had problems with. Right, before we start zeroing in into the nitty-gritty of the procedure, that's the kit, that's the problem GPS.
GPS is not yet tracking. Go outside to get better GPS signals.
So we go outside. This hasn't been switched on for possibly weeks.
GPS is not yet tracking. Go outside to get better GPS signals. Time is 07:22 and 26 seconds. Not moving. We are 8 meters east of Robin's doorstep.
Yeah, that's about right. It's just started tracking now. So if I move towards it.
Heading 181. Target Robin's doorstep at 258. Steer right by 76.
Right. Well, that heading is about 270, so that's their problem. It takes too long to respond to heading
Heading
changes.
172. Target Robin's doorstep at 270. Steer right by 97.
So that's what we put on video, or must be a month or so back. And all the other GPSs, included in the same batch from Digigomart, all work
Heading
perfectly.
87. Target Robin's doorstep at 265. Steer right by 177.
Right, so now to check out the procedure. Yes, welcome to my immaculate,
Heading
tidy office.
228. Target back coordinate 222.
So we can disconnect all this autopilot stuff. So basically all we have is the COM port connector to go into COM1 on the PC. Right the back there. So there it is near the window, connected to the PC. So we're fire up SiRF demo, and OK, COM1, action, open data source, and there we got the NMEA data coming in. So basically we've got the GPS working, other than this problem of smoothing, which we don't want of heading. Right, the first thing to point out is that our original patch from Jesse was back in March 2015, and following the recent information from him, we've reinstalled it, but it seems to be an identical patch. So that's the one we'll run, even though it seems to be identical. And we check the setup, which in Jesse's email asked us to double check, and that all looks exactly as it should be, with the only change from his example is COM1. All those parameters seem to be exactly the same. So we'll now apply the patch, run, right, and it says COM1, so we say right patch. No, I should have ticked that. Let's stop that. Repeat it again. I've done this mistake before, but not recently. So we apply the patch, run, and tick that little Chinese option. Then apply the patch. So you should be able to read it. Success, it says. Right, so the patch has been applied. The next step in our setup procedure is to run SiRF demo and action open data source, and then we want to switch off static nav, and to do that we have to say action switch to SiRF protocol, navigation, static navigation, disable, if I'll send that. That should have switched off static nav. Now action switch to NEMA protocol. Our options that include 4800, and for our application we don't need all of these other messages, so I'm just disabling those, and the only one that we actually want is the GPRMC message. So we say right, send that. That should switch then to just GPRMC messages, which we're getting. Now with our other GPS, what we would be getting is random directions when it's static. So let's just check that. Right, we're now starting to get velocity information Now the key thing is there, we are getting, I suspect those are smoothed headings. T-Tage test will confirm that, but before that let's just do one or two other things. I'll fire up my ancient GPS software, GPSS.
Good morning. This GPS software is given free to individuals as a means of promotion.
Yeah, sorry about all this nausea at the start, but it should settle down onto a GPS after it's done some checks. Old timers from 20 years ago might remember some of this stuff. In fact, the last update was 2011.
Changing map to 22 Armitage Court, home of the GPS software. I am receiving GPS data. Changing map to 22 Armitage Court, home of the GPS software. We are in Sign Hill and
Right.
in 22 Armitage Court.
Being just here, which isn't exactly a brilliant position, the location is wandering around a bit, but the main thing that is very different is the heading. That heading vector would normally be random, and in fact it's obviously smoothed, so we haven't fixed it. So I don't really need to go outside for another T-tray test to know that we still have the problem. So over to you guys. Yeah, I guess I can't resist ending on Snoopy the Viking robot boat stuff, so you get at least a glance of what we were doing yesterday. And there's an important message to Americans from Snoopy the Viking on the Snoopy page.